So, thermometer is a very sensitive and delicate device. So, we have to be very careful while using it. Now, I have tabulated some precautions. Remember these precautions while using the thermometer. First is, of course, it has to be washed with antiseptic solution. Second is, we have to ensure by shaking or giving it a jerk that the mercury level is below 35 degrees Celsius in case of clinical thermometer. Then keep the level of mercury along the line of sight. You can't keep it below or up, it has to be on the line of sight. Most important, handle thermometer with care. It should not touch any hard object. So, when you are shaking it, see to it that your hand does not go and touch a hard object like say a wall. And finally, while reading the temperature, do not hold the thermometer from the bulb side, always hold it from the other side and then read the temperature. And finally, once you have seen the temperature, put the thermometer back in your case safely. Otherwise, if you just keep it anywhere, again it can break. So, these are the precautions that we have to take while handling the thermometer. Now, I told you that mercury is poisonous or toxic, but then what to do? At home we need to have a thermometer. There is an alternative. These days digital thermometers are available which are without mercury, and so the danger of toxic substance spreading in your house is not there. When we are cooking food, we put pan or your whatever utensil you are using on the flame. Why do we keep it on the flame? And how does that heat of the flame come onto the utensil? And then further, if we even keep so much as a spoon or a serving spoon inside the pan, even that gets heated up. That means heat is moving. How does it move? Okay, one of the way is by doing one simple experiment. You can take a scale, but not a plastic scale, a scale which is made up of a metal, and then you can take a stand or you can just take 2 bricks and keep it inside the bricks, between the 2 bricks, right. On this scale we can put some wax balls, we can fix them, and then put a candle below one of the wax balls. Now start heating. After some time you will find the wax will start melting. Of course, the one which is just above the flame will melt first of all, but slowly you will find even the last one will melt. How has this melted? And if you will touch, you will find, of course, this end is very hot, but even the other end is hot. So, that means heat has moved from one point to another, and the process by which heat is transferred in the solids is called conduction. So, transfer of heat, first method is conduction, and this happens in case of solids. There are some substances which can pass heat very easily, they are called conductors, but there are some which cannot, and they are called insulators. You can take some plastic material, you can take some wood material, and like you can take a pencil, you can take a divider, you can take a compass, you can take a plastic scale, a metallic scale, and then put all these things in hot water and then try and touch them. Have you ever wondered why the handles of utensils are made up of either wood or plastic? The reason is same, that through every solid heat cannot pass. There are some substances like plastic or wood through which heat does not pass so freely. So, they are called poor conductors or the insulators, and that is why the handles are always made up of either plastic or wood, so that when we are stirring we do not burn our hands. Alright, this is how heat is transferred in the solid, but what about the liquids? Another experiment. You can take a beaker or a round bottomed flask. What is a round bottomed flask? Which has a round bottom. You can fill it with water and then add some potassium permanganate. It is purple in color, and then we heat it. What we find is that streaks of purple color move up, while normal uncolored water is coming down. We can clearly see a current like structure. Now, what is this happening? So, what is happening? The water which is at the bottom gets heated up first because it is closer to flame, and then it becomes light in weight, and so it moves up, and the cold water which was at the bottom comes down. So, like this a kind of current gets established. Hot water keeps going up, cold water keeps coming down, and slowly the temperature keeps rising and the heat gets distributed in the entire available liquid, or in this case water. So, this is another way of transfer of heat which is present in case of liquids. A kind of cycle gets established, and this is called convection. So, first method was conduction, which is in the solids, some solids which are good conductors of heat, and the second method is convection, which is in the case of liquids. Do you live in coastal area? If you are, then you must be loving the sea breeze. What is this sea breeze and land breeze? It is same like I told you convection. Say this is sea and this is land. Now, during the day what happens is that the land gets heated up, the soil also gets heated up, and as a result the air above the land also gets heated up and it rises up. So, there is an area of low pressure. To cover up that low pressure, breeze above the sea come towards the land. Now, once the breeze comes or the air above the sea comes on land, naturally there will be now low pressure area above sea. So, this hot air will go above the sea. This is the cold air and this is the hot air, and this is during daytime. Right? Now, what happens at night? You see, water is not a very good conductor of heat. It takes time, longer time to get heated up, and it also takes longer time to get cooled. So, what happens at night? The air above the land gets cooled because the land also gets cooled, and as a result the reverse of this happens. The air above the sea is hot, so it moves up, and to cover that up the cold air from land comes towards sea, and the vice versa. So, what we find is that the air current is created. The breeze that comes from sea is called sea breeze, it is cooler, and the breeze at night which goes from land is the land breeze, and which is hotter. Till now we talked about transfer of heat through a medium, whether solid or liquid. So, does that mean there will be no transfer of heat if there is no medium? But that does not happen. In the atmosphere, above the atmosphere, there is no air, and sun is far beyond, and yet we get the warmth of sun. How does that happen? That is the third method of transfer of heat, and that is called radiation. It is through radiation that we get the heat of the sun. Even in the room, when there is a heater there, or there is an angity, how do we get warmth? It is through radiation. So, to sum up, we can say that heat gets transferred by three methods: conduction, which is in the case of solids; convection, which is in the case of liquids and gases; and third, radiation, which is without a medium.